are actually 15 altogether, have been studying the United States Constitution since August, every day, pretty much, not Sunday. But anyway, they learned it in detail, and what it involves is that it's a national competition. This year is actually the 28th National We the People competition in Washington, D.C. And every state sends their winning team, their first place team. Kahuku has actually been over 15 times in the last 20 years. So it's exciting, and I have to tell you, I'm really proud of these students. They know the Constitution better than I do. And I don't think I could have ever done this when I was in high school or would have chosen to do it. And so I give them credit for being this into it, this dedicated, and I'll let them tell you a little bit more about it. Is that right?
So as Ms. Hardy said, We the People group is study and focus on the Constitution. Some of the questions we get are things about whether or not compulsory voting should be something we have in the United States, and we have to look to how the Constitution would interpret such a measure and such laws. And we have questions basically along those lines that look to not only the past and how the Constitution was founded and was made, but also how it applies to today.
This group is practically a training ground for our future lawyers, our future politicians, and our future academics of America. And this program is really important not just to the state, but also to our school. It gives us a spotlight, not just on the state level, but on the national level too.
Thank you so much. Let's hear it for our mahalo. I'm grateful for our students here coming out here and showing support for our community town hall meetings. And just to let you all know, this is the first of several that we're planning to hold throughout the district. And what we want to make sure we do is involve our community. So what the purpose of our meeting tonight is to share with you more about the process that's going on at the Capitol. I go there every day. We're there in meetings, even sometimes on the weekend we're there as well and research. So the intent of this meeting is to share with you the process of what's going on, invite you to be able to participate in what we're doing, and also so that you have our contact information and so that you can help this process moving along. Just like our We the People team, it takes a lot of diligence, a lot of study, a lot of preparation. So how a bill becomes a law.
This video will explain how a bill becomes law. Citizens often meet with legislators on an idea for a bill. By law, each bill must address only one subject, which must be expressed in its title. Legislators will also want to introduce bills that are important to their constituents and the people of the state of Hawaii.
Opening day of the legislative session convenes annually at 10 a.m. on a third Wednesday in January. A standard legislative session consists of 60 legislative days, excluding weekends, holidays, and any mandatory legislative recess days. On each of the 60 legislative days, the House and Senate convene in their respective chambers to conduct official legislative business. These 60 days are spread out over a period of about 3.5 months. In 2015, the legislature will convene on January 21st. Mandatory recess days ensure that legislators have enough time to review bills they will be voting on. Each session, there is also one mandatory recess of 5 consecutive days. Important work still takes place on recess days. The 5-day recess serves many purposes. It allows members of the public to review bills and discuss proposed legislation with their elected officials. It also allows legislators to go out into their districts and meet with constituents. Committee hearings also take place during legislative recess days. By law, the 5-day recess must take place between the 20th and 40th legislative day. During the mandatory 5-day recess, the Finance Committee typically holds hearings on several of those days.
The lawmaking process begins with the introduction of bills as well as resolutions, and the referral to one or more committees. Sometimes you'll hear the term measures. This is a general term that refers to both bills and resolutions. To become law, a bill must pass 3 readings or be voted on 3 times in each chamber by its members on separate days. The House Speaker and Senate President's offices are responsible for referring bills to the appropriate committee or committees within their chambers. For example, a House bill that addresses education and has fiscal implications would be referred to the House Education and House Finance Committees. Referrals are announced via official referral sheets. Referral sheets are issued in succession. For example, referral sheet number 1, number 2, number 3, etc., until all bills have been referred. But just because a bill has been referred to a committee doesn't mean that the committee will actually have a hearing on it. In fact, many bills never even receive a hearing.
If a bill is referred to one committee only, it is a single referral bill. If a bill is referred to 2 committees, it is a double referral bill. If a bill is referred to 3 committees, it is a triple referral bill. In the event of a multiple referral, the first committee to which a bill is referred is the lead committee. Sometimes you'll see a joint referral. This means that 2 or more committees will meet at the same time and place to hold the hearing. But even with a joint referral, it's possible that the bill will still be heard by other committees later down the line or have been heard by other committees before the joint hearing.
A standard legislative session can be broken down into 3 distinct phases. Think of it as 3 rounds. Round 1 is when the House hears and votes on House bills. The Senate hears and votes on Senate bills. Round 2 is when the House hears Senate bills that have crossed over to the House. The Senate hears House bills that have crossed over to the Senate.
Legislative deadlines are like checkpoints that a bill must pass through by a certain time in order for the bill to keep moving through the legislative process. Triple referral deadline means all triple referral bills must have been reported out of their first committee. Lateral filing deadline means all bills with multiple referrals, double or triple, must have moved to their final committee. Decking deadline means all bills must be submitted, for example decked, in their final form to be considered for passage on 3rd reading. This is to give legislators time to read and understand the bills they are considering for passage on 3rd reading. Crossover deadline means all bills must have passed 3rd reading in their originating chamber to be eligible to cross over to the other chamber for consideration. Remember when we said each bill must pass 3 readings or get voted on 3 times in each chamber? These votes, also known as floor votes, are interspersed with the committee votes.
Let's say a bill is introduced in the House and is numbered House Bill 1 or HB 1. HB 1 goes to the House floor, and based on House custom, it automatically passes first reading en masse with dozens of other bills, without any discussion or consideration on the merits. HB 1 is then formally referred to the appropriate committee or committees. Say, for example, it's referred to Education and Finance. Assume that the bill is indeed heard in Education and then successfully passes out. If it goes to the House floor for 2nd reading and receives enough votes to pass 2nd reading, then it continues on in the legislative process. Assume further that the bill, as referred, is heard in the Finance Committee. If it successfully passes out of the Finance Committee, then it goes back to the House floor for 3rd reading. HB 1 then crosses over to the Senate. The Senate President considers which committees the bill should be referred to on the Senate side, and then the process starts all over again. Keep in mind that the referral on the Senate side won't necessarily be equivalent to what it was on the House side. The Senate might refer it to different committees or even a different number of committees. If the originating chamber agrees to the other chamber's amendments to its bill, then after 3rd reading in the other chamber, the bill goes to the governor for consideration. The other chamber may also pass the originating chamber's bill without making any amendments to it whatsoever. Now the final round is if the originating chamber disagrees to the other chamber's amendments to its bill, then the bill has to go to conference committee. Conference committee is one of the most exciting times during the legislative session.
During round 1 and 2, the House and Senate will each make changes or amendments to their own bills, as well as bills that crossed over from the other chamber. Therefore, you may see many different versions or drafts of a bill. For example, what started out as HB 1 might become HB 1 HD 2 SD 1, meaning the bill was amended twice in the House, then crossed over to the Senate, or was amended once. During the conference committee period, House and Senate members discuss differences between House and Senate versions of a bill and try to reach a compromise. Many bills never make it out of conference period because agreement cannot be reached in time. Bills that do make it out of conference committee go back to each chamber for a final vote called final reading, because the bill will have been amended substantially since the originating chamber last voted on it. For example, if HB1, HD2, SD1 goes to conference, compromise is reached, and it passes out of the conference committee, it will be labeled HB1, HD2, SD1, CD1. After a conference bill passes final reading, it goes to the governor for consideration.
The governor has a certain amount of time prescribed by law in which to review bills. Bills can become law without his signature or with his signature, or they can be vetoed. Legislators whose bills have made it this far in the process hope that their bill will ultimately become law. The governor must review bills within a set time frame established by law. The length of time he has to review a bill depends on when it was presented to him. For bills presented to him 10 or more days before the legislature adjourns, he has 10 business days to consider those bills. If he has not signed or vetoed a bill within this time frame, it becomes law without his signature. For all other bills passed during this session, the governor has 45 business days after the adjournment to consider those bills. If he hasn't signed or vetoed a bill within this time frame, it becomes law without his signature. But if he plans to veto any bills, he must give the legislature advance notice of which bills he intends to veto. This notice must be given at least 10 business days in advance.
We will be sharing this on our website and our Facebook page as well for your information. So, how to get involved, how to stay up to date with legislation, submit testimony, contacting your legislators. Right now, there's a huge movement going on with website use, electronic use. So I'm going to give you a website address that if you're not already familiar with it, I invite you to go and take part in that. And the web address is capital.hawaii.gov. Capital with a O, not A. Capital. Sometimes I get that mixed up. So capital.hawaii.gov. And if you register there, you can stay up to date with legislation and various things like that. You can also call into my office as well and make sure that your voice is heard. So, these are some screenshots, just so you know what it looks like when you go there. There will be a registration tab on the top right corner. There's some other parts in there. So I hope this is informative to some of you so that you know how to access this information. And all you need is an email address in order to register. Searching for measures. Now, bills are also called measures. So oftentimes, when you go, unless you already know the bill number, the measure number, you can also search by keyword. That's another function on the website that I hope you can check out. There's also measure status page. All of these things are very important to show you the description, to the history, and also look at the bill in PDF format or also online. And you can see testimonies as well that are submitted. How many of you, by the raise of hands, have ever submitted testimony on a bill at the Capitol? Oh, just a few of us. Okay. All right. So from today on, how many of you will feel prompted to submit testimony using this online website? By the raise of hands. All right, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And there's another feature on there too, that orange square is an icon that you can use to stay up to date with searching bills and entries. All right, and this is the process for submitting testimony. Again, we will have this available for everyone to use online on our website and also on our Facebook page. The most important things I'd like to highlight for you is on the bottom right side of the first page, it says pothole patrol. Now, I talked to the Department of Transportation. I told them about the potholes and the rough roads that we have out here. How many of you would agree that we do have some rough roads out here? Okay, thank you so much, definitely. So the city hotline is 78768-7777. The state pothole number is 536-7852. All right, once again, 536-7852. So it's important for what I received from the Department of Transportation is that the likelihood of them repaving our roads is in direct correlation to how many people actually called into these hotline numbers. That's what I got from the Department of Transportation. So, have any of you tried using this phone number yet? No, not yet. Okay. I would invite you to continue using that and call them even every day if necessary. But I've tried using that number, and the ladies and the office staff there, they are very receptive to our phone calls. Now, I saw a crew come out today. They did do some pothole repairs. But if you do see a pothole, Kamehameha Highway in our district is basically a state maintained road. That would be the 526 number that we call. So I invite you, whenever you see a pothole, what are you going to do? Call that number. Save that number in your phone right now, and make sure if you have any concerns about that, call it. Because when I go to ask, they're going to look at their records at the Department of Transportation, and they're going to see that we have a lot of people calling in. So that's going to prompt them to come out and pave our roads as well. So that's one thing I wanted to convey to all of you. And that's one way to stay involved in your government.